Just a quick.
Yes.
All right.
I've also started recording. Okay. Good.
Yeah, start recording. Okay, sure. So welcome guys to this second session of Syscon talks on ROS, and so this is like a workshop, and yesterday we saw some things, and this is in continuation to that. And today's agenda will be to get familiar with this software called Gazebo, which helps you to do physics simulation for robot models, and also like we will uh, get our hands on a robot, a Kobuki mobile robot, and we will see how to control this robot like by different means. So that's the overview. And last time in the previous session yesterday we had covered these things, so I hope like you like kind of have that still in your working memory, so we will proceed from there. So we have already covered this hello world example where we saw some things like publishing a message, subscribing to a message, and the concept of topic. So basically ROS allows us to run these scripts or these programs which are called nodes, and these nodes pass communication or like pass messages with each other, and that's how this whole thing works. Now these nodes cannot talk to each other directly, so we need a mechanism, and that mechanism is the topic. So today we are going to see Gazebo, or today we are going to use Gazebo. So what is Gazebo? So basically Gazebo is also called as a Gazebo simulation environment, and it is a separate open source project. So it is a very big project, like it comes with the ROS package that we installed for this workshop, but Gazebo in itself is a very big software, and it is being maintained as a separate open source project. And the objective of Gazebo is to make robot simulation easy. Okay, so just the simulation part. Okay, and when we talk about robot simulation, it just does not mean the robot's rigid body dynamics. It also means this physics, textures, lightings, and because we are talking about robotics, we also need to like simulate sensors, actuators, and different other things um, let's say like temperature and like settings like gravity and all that. So that comes in the physics. And also like last thing is that this software, this Gazebo simulation environment, is very very well integrated into ROS. So basically what it means is mostly you will have no trouble running it, and like it's easy to get started, and uh, and another aspect is that lots of utilities or tools have already been created that allow you to go back and forth between ROS and Gazebo, so you wouldn't even notice that you are going to a different software and running a robot, because ROS is a separate software, Gazebo is a separate software, but you won't notice that because of this integration, it is so well integrated. And of course, like remember from last time, in ROS everything is a package. Okay, so Gazebo is also this coupling of Gazebo and ROS, that is also happening with the help of a package. Okay, and that package is called Gazebo underscore ROS. So basically we need this package Gazebo ROS. Okay, so first of all we need ROS, we need Gazebo, and then we need Gazebo ROS, which is like a package which connects Gazebo and ROS. Okay, so this was already installed when you did this ROS Kinetic Desktop full installation. Okay, so when you did this install, it was already installed in your computer, and to run this you just need to start a ROS core. Remember from last time, ROS core is the first program that we need to run, and when we are using launch files we don't need to run ROS core, because launch ROS launch command, it automatically takes care of ROS core. Okay, if ROS core is running it won't run, and if it is not running, launch ROS launch command will run it. So here we are not doing any launch file, so we are just running the regular, we'll open a terminal, we'll run the first command ROS core, then we will open another terminal, we will run ROS run gazebo ROS, the package name, then we will run this file called gazebo, and then finally I'm passing an extra argument here, which is --verbose. So what this argument does is it gives you a lot of debug or behind the scene information. Okay, so when you run this, it might not work for the first time. It happens, like when you have freshly installed ROS, what happens is gazebo requires some files and it tries to download them behind the scene. So sometimes what happens is it is not able to connect to the server. Maybe you don't have a Wi-Fi, or maybe you have a Wi-Fi but there is some proxy, or like there can be a lot of reasons for it. But don't panic, like don't think that your installation is faulty. Just try to run it again and again. Okay, so Control C and then run again, Control C, run again, until and unless you get it running. So this is a snapshot which shows you what to do. Open a terminal, run ROS core, then open another terminal, then run this gazebo ROS and gazebo verbose. Okay, so this is what you will see, and when you have successfully run gazebo, you will see this green messages which will say, okay, like connected to master at this, and like all this like physics dynamic reconfigure ready. Okay, so all these messages will, when you see this, that means success, you are done. Okay, your gazebo is running without any problems and all, and this is what you will see as the gazebo window. So when gazebo starts, you see this particular window. So this window has this left pane where you see all these settings and like place where you can do some tweaks, and then finally this is the physical environment which is being simulated. Okay, so this is like there are these three lines. You see this red line, green line, blue line. So this red line is your x-axis, positive x-axis, your green is positive y, and this blue is positive z-axis, and this is a square thing. This is a grid, and probably each square is like 1 meter by 1 meter, so it might look very small, but it is like a physical world. And then there are some messages being printed like real time factor, simulation time. So all this is there. Okay, now we know how to run gazebo. Okay, we open two terminals and we run, but it would be convenient if we can run that from a launch file. Okay, and that is like very easy, just like one liner. Okay, so yesterday somebody had asked a question, okay, how can I run a file from a different package? So this is exactly that. Okay, so what we will do today, like yesterday we created a package, right? The name was test pub sub. Okay, now today we are going to create another package which will be called kobo underscore control. Okay, and then just like last time we will pass rospy because we are going to program our scripts in Python. So this is how you create a new package which will use rospy, and then create a launch directory just like we did last time. Go inside this kobo control directory and create a launch directory, and inside that launch directory create a gazebo load.launch script. How do we do that? Using the touch command. The touch was a Ubuntu command. Okay, the Unix command. And then this is the content of your launch file. This is what you are supposed to put inside this newly created file. And if you see line 1, 2 and 4, they are regular lines, like you just need them in any launch file. You need these three lines, and then the core line is line 3. Okay, what does it say? It is an include tag. So okay, so include tag, what it does, it includes a file, and the file has to be passed in this file argument. So file is equal to, then this is a double quotes, and then there is this dollar. This dollar, like in all Unix systems, even in Ubuntu, or like even in Mac or something, this dollar kind of helps you to run command. Okay, whenever you are running terminal. So this is just a convention in Unix. Okay, so this dollar, when you write something inside dollar, that means it is something special. So when we write dollar, then it allows us to write a command. So then we are writing find, and then this is space bar. So find this package gazebo ROS. So if you remember, in last session we had used a command called ROS CD. Okay, which was like automatically finding our ROS packages, ROS CD test pub sub. It will automatically take me to, so this is similar to that. This is just like ROS CD. Okay, so it will find this package called gazebo ROS. Okay, this gazebo ROS package, it will find then it will go inside a launch directory, and then it will include this particular file, empty world. So what we are doing, again nothing, just including a file. So include tag and the file. And how to find this file, we don't know where it might be in our system. So this find command is a very convenient command, and it's an internal thing. Okay, so it will be taken care by Gazebo, like, oh sorry, not Gazebo, ROS launch. So this file is read by ROS launch, and it will launch this particular file. And if you want to see what is inside this empty world.launch, you know what to do, what we did yesterday. Just use ROS-cd, go to this location and open this file and see. Okay, so once we have this ROS launch, we are ready, we can just fire it away, and we will see this same window. This same window will appear. Okay, but this time we did not really need to run ROS core or anything, just one terminal, that's all. Now yesterday we introduced you to this tool called ROS topic. Okay, so ROS topic is this command which, and if you remember, like, this command actually helps us in finding out information about topics. So let us first refresh our understanding. Okay, so topic is just a mechanism by which two nodes communicate with each other. Okay, but if you carefully observe, topics are the mechanisms by which you talk to robots, because a node is nothing but a robot, right? And how do you talk to a robot? Through a topic. So topics are very important in ROS. Okay, so suppose I have a robot, and I have a robot and it has got a light on it, let us say a LED on it. Now I want the LED to turn on. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pass this information through a topic. Let us say that topic might be LED control. So I will do LED control. Okay, send a message, okay, turn on the LED, and then it will turn on that LED. Or maybe I will have to send some 0 or 1 integer, so I will send 0 to this LED control topic. So when I send 0 as integer, then it will do turn off the light, and then maybe by 1 it will turn it on. So when I send 1, it will turn on the LED light. So this is just to give you an idea like how important these topics are. So topics are our mechanism by which we are going to talk to the robot, or like pass any information, or like get any information. Let us say I have a topic called image processing. I have a camera, and I want to, like identify, okay, who entered the lab. Let us say, like I put a camera in my lab door, and I want to use like, okay, it makes no sense, but like, okay, so let us say I have a camera on a lab door, and I want to identify which student is entering the lab right now. So what I can do, I can run an image processing node, and when that node is done, it will send me a string, a message like, okay, this particular student entered the lab. So this will again come from a topic. The node will not directly tell me who entered, but it will tell the topic, and then I can read from the topic, something like that. So topics are of very central importance. So we are going to use this tool called ROS topic. So this ROS topic allows us to inquire topics, and what it is we will see through this example. So when we run Gazebo, what I mean is, when we had this window open, something was running, right? ROS core was running, Gazebo was running, but in the background, what were the topics? Does Gazebo also give us some topics? So yeah, we can see that with the help of this command called ROS topic list. Okay, so our first command, like today's first command, is ROS topic list. That is new. Okay, so when we do that, we will get a list of all the topics that are running. And do you see, like, all of these topics are running, and these topics have some meaning, like, so even when Gazebo was not running, when only ROS core was running, you would observe that these 4 topics, which is this clock, ROS out, ROS out AGG, these topics might be still running. Like, these topics are run by ROS core or ROS master. Okay, so all these topics, so all of these are topics, and these topics which have Gazebo written before, like in the as the first string, wherever there is Gazebo, it means this is being run by Gazebo. So Gazebo runs this link state, model state, parameter description, parameter update, set link state, set model state, parameter description, parameter update. So what I'm trying to say is all these lines which you see, these are all topics which are being run behind the scene by Gazebo. And these are very useful topics. So whenever we have a robot or something, this set model state, this can actually help us to kind of relocate that robot. Suppose my robot, I run an example. Let us say I'm trying to do an inverted pendulum control, or let us say I'm trying to do a trajectory following thing, and I want to redo the experiment. So I want to bring the robot to initial position. Then I will use this set model state command, and I will set the model state to initial state, and then my robot will come back to where it was earlier, something like that. So each of this topic has some use, but we will not require it. It is just for the sake of understanding that we should know, okay, topics are there. Like whenever we run Gazebo, there will be topics. Whenever we run a robot, there will be topics. So topics is our way of interacting with Gazebo and ROS. Okay, so let us go ahead and learn more about this ROS topic tool. So first argument that we learned is list. So ROS topic list, it tells you what are all those live topics. So what are the topics which are running right now? If I want to know, I'm going to use ROS topic list command. Okay, and then again ROS topic gives you more information. So that information is, suppose I want to know what kind of information is there in this topics. So then I am going to need I'm going to use this command called ROS topic info. So suppose I want to know what is inside this clock, what is inside this clock topic. So then I'm going to use this command ROS topic info. So here you see I'm using ROS topic info clock, and then it is telling me what type of message is there. So this is the ROS graph message clock, and who is publishing this message? Gazebo is publishing. Oh my bad. So the Gazebo is publishing this message, and who is subscribing to this message? ROS out, and Gazebo itself is subscribing, and Gazebo GUI is subscribing, and then RQT is also subscribing. So I have run RQT graph in like behind the scene. That's why it is saying RQT. Okay, so these are all the subscriber, publisher, what type of message. So all this information we get from this info command, ROS topic info. Now let us see the same thing pictorially. Like, so this is the ROS graph. Okay, so this is the ROS graph when nothing is running, just Gazebo empty window. Okay, no robot, no nothing. This is by default. So many things are running behind the scene, and most of these topics we don't need to see, and that's why there are these options like hide dead things, hide leaf, hide debug information. So that's what we will do. So when we hide all this debug, and when we hide all these dead things, we'll see only these two things, and these two things are of let us say of concern to us, because when we are going to create a robot and try to control it, we don't want to see these unnecessary topics, right? This is just internal thing happening to make the Gazebo running. Okay, so we don't need to see this every time. So what we do, we select all these dead sync, leave topic, debug. Okay, we don't want to see all these debug thing. We just want to see whatever is like of concern to us, and Gazebo GUI, that is all. Okay, so moving ahead, now it's time to get introduced or like to this robot that we will be using today, and we will be simulating and controlling it. So this is your Kobuki robot, and it was created by this guys Eugene Robotics. So these Eugene people created this robot, and I think it like it's very popular. And if you know this robot called iRobot, like there is this vacuum cleaner kind of robot. So the first that automatic vacuum cleaning robot, it was made out of this Kobuki base only. Okay, and if you are familiar with this robot which is used in robotics research called Turtlebot, Turtlebot is also based on this robot. So basically you take this robot, you add more things to it, and then it becomes Turtlebot, something like that. But the important point is the base is the same, the robot base is the same. So the base helps you to move your robot here, there, and sense obstacles, and see whether it is going to fall off a cliff or something. Okay, so this is the robotic base, and we are going to first of all download this robots model, and then we are going to simulate this model, and then finally we are going to see how to control this robot, how to make it move from here to there and like that. Okay, and this robot has a lot of sensors and all that we'll see. So let's go ahead and see how it is downloaded. So just like I said, everything is a package in ROS. So we need this particular package. If we want this robot, we need this package. So the robot is available as a package. So what is this package name? ROS Kinetic Kobuki dash star. So why I have written star? Star means it's just like a wildcard. Okay, so it will try to fit whatever is there. So all the packages which have this name and followed by anything, they will get installed. Okay, so when we do this, all the Kobuki related packages are installed, and this was I think this was given to you as an instruction, so you must have already installed it in your computer. If not, you can just run this command and it will be installed. And good for us, this package comes with these pre-configured examples which we can readily run. Okay, so there are two examples. First is empty world example and the second one is a playground example, and we'll see both of them. Okay, so you can just run this command ROS launch, no more like ROS core, just open a terminal, run ROS launch, and we'll see something. Okay, what we'll see here. So when we run this Kobuki empty world.launch, when we launch this file, launch file, Kobuki empty world, remember this is part of Kobuki Gazebo package. Okay, this is not Gazebo ROS package, this is Kobuki Gazebo package. So if you remember earlier we had to open Gazebo, now we don't even have to open Gazebo. What we are doing, we are just calling this file which is packaged inside this Kobuki Gazebo package. And how did we get this Kobuki Gazebo package? From this install. Okay, this ROS Kinetic Kobuki star. Okay, so this has this pre-configured examples, and we are just running this example Kobuki empty world, and this is what we will see. So this is our robotic this is our robot model which is being simulated inside Gazebo. Okay, so this is how it looks, and again this is X, Y and Z axis, and now our robot is ready. But how do we communicate to this robot? How do we know like what this robot is offering? What are all the features, functionalities? To see them, what we will need is we will need to see topics. And before that, see, this is the second example. So the first example was this empty world thing here, empty world, and the second was playground. So when we run empty world, we see this. When we run playground, we will see this. And what is there in playground? There are these tables, there are these bricks, and then our robot is there. Okay, so so actually like what is that mechanism by which we will be able to see what are the functionalities being offered by this robot? And that is again ROS topics. Okay, so there will be topics hosted by this robot. So when Gazebo loaded this robot, it also loaded all those topics. Okay, so we can run again this ROS topic list command and see what are all those new topics. So if you remember this clock and Gazebo, this was all there already, right? But there are some new there are some new topics, which is mobile base, command motor power, reset odometry, velocity, bumper, cliff, IMU data, odom is short for odometry, and then there is this TF transform. Okay, TF and TF static. So these 1 2 and then 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, so almost 9 new topics have been created when we ran this robot model or when we loaded this launch file. Okay, and just like previously, we can inquire about what are these topics, like what are these topics giving or taking, like whether they publish or subscribe. We will get this information using ROS topic info command. Okay, but before that, I mean, it's a good idea to see this robot in action. Okay, and to see this robot in action, we are going to run that playground example. So I'm going to switch to terminal, and let us see. So ROS launch Kobuki ROS, and then what was that? Kobuki underscore playground. Okay, okay, let me just, okay, it is wrong probably. ROS launch, okay, something is wrong. Wait, yeah, this, okay, this was not Kobuki ROS, Kobuki Gazebo, that was my bad. Okay, so Kobuki playground, yeah, so this is the launch file. I'm running it, and see, all this fires up and my Gazebo window is open, and I hope like you are able to see my screen. And so this is our physics world, you know, shadows and lighting and everything. You see these are like high quality textures, right? And this is our robot sitting there. And I mean, you can just kind of rotate it and see. Okay, so this is our robot, and now we are going to see it in action. That is, we are going to see it move. So if you remember, I use this launch file, right? But there is another launch file which controls this robot. Okay, so what I'm going to do, ROS launch Kobuki gazebo, and then there is this launch file called safe random walker. So here you see this safe random walker app.launch. So this is going to control this robot. So but before that, before all that, let us take a look at what are the ROS topics and what are the graphs. So I'm going to just run rqt graph and let us see what is there, like, you know, without controlling this robot. Okay, so here is the rqt graph. Okay, even without any, like, you know, okay, my bad, I have to hide this debug and leaf and dead things. Okay, so this is it. This is it, like, you know, this is all the relevant things or topics. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run that controller thing. So controller thing is this safe random walker launch file. Okay, so let us do that. So ROS launch Kobuki underscore gazebo, and then save something something random. Oh yeah, so you guys must be familiar with this autocomplete. So whenever I press tab, it will automatically complete with the like, you know, like it guesses the name of the file and it completes it. So here I did that. So I just wrote save and SAFE, and then I press tab and it completes it automatically. So that is that saves you a lot of time. You don't need to type all of this. So let us just run this. Okay, so I'm going to run this and we are going to see the gazebo window first. So I run this, and then okay, let's go and see the gazebo window. You see the robot moving, and let's see what it does. So it hits the object and then it is kind of like, you know, trying to like go there, and now you will see there is this robot has a sensor which is called a cliff sensor. So it will sense that it is near the edge of this table, so to prevent it from falling, it kind of senses that edge and then it comes back. Okay, so it is just randomly navigating. Okay, the purpose of this exercise is just to show you that, like, you know, how it looks in action, nothing else. So okay, so it has got some sensors and all that things. So now it's a good time to see, like, you know, what is the ROS graph looking like. So we can just refresh this ROS graph, and you see now. Okay, so just by launching that controller launch file, you see so many new topics have emerged. And you see, uh, okay, this is too big to fit, I guess, in a single shot. So here is like, you know, here is our controller node. So it has created lot of new things. And you see there is this velocity node which is receiving command from this node let manager. And this is like, okay, so there is a lot of communication going around. Okay, no point in trying to decipher the meaning right away. We'll see it what each of these do. Okay, so let us close this and let us stop this simulation. And to stop this simulation, we can just press Control C. Yeah, just give me a moment. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Deepak.
So there's a query.
Yeah, tell me.
Ramon Mishra, I mean, I think you can unmute and go ahead with the question yourself.
Yes.
Ram? Yeah.
Or perhaps Ram, you can, if you're not able to speak, you can type the message in the text box, and Deepak can read that.
Yeah, he had typed saying, I have problem with playground, so I was not clear on what.
Oh,
so are you
see,
trying to run it right now, or we can't hear you?
Okay, so let me speak. If you have problem with this playground, see, it is a pre-packaged example, है ना? So this is more like a technical debugging. This we can do after the session also. But just let us, like, focus on the learning part. That is like, this example comes with the package, and then we are going to do some scripting business which will allow us to control this robot. Okay, so that is the important bit. So this is just an example. Like, if you are not able to run it, I believe you will be able to run it afterwards. Okay, so this is just a debugging issue. Nothing. It won't affect much. Like, it's just probably you are not running, activating your workspace, or maybe there might be like some package naming error. Like, I was making a mistake. I was writing Kobuki ROS, but it was Kobuki Gazebo. Okay, so there might be some, like, small issue. So yeah, I mean, so let us go ahead. We'll come back to this after the talk if
Yeah,
the
hello.
problem still exists. Yeah, hello, we can hear you now. Yes.
No, I'm Sushant. So my doubt is, do we have to run the playground in the background to move the robot with the help of a random walker?
Okay. Yes, we have to. So let us first try to understand what these two launch files are doing. So first launch file is just loading that physics simulation. Okay. So the first launch file is setting up the environment, and then the second launch file uses this environment and then does the controlling of robot. So both are required, and you need to run the first one. It makes sense to run the controller afterwards, right? You can run the controller before also, like, because ROS is very robust. So what it will do, if there is a topic which is not up, it will ask the node to wait. Okay, wait for this topic to get up. So basically you can do that, like you can run the controller before you load the simulation, but it makes no sense, right? So you load the simulation first and then you run the controller.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Sure. Anything else, guys? Any other queries?
Am I audible now?
You are, yes.
I was trying to open the playground option, but it was
Oh
showing
yeah.
some error. So what I did that I opened that ROS. I typed ROS launch Kobuki Gazebo. I pressed tab twice. So in that case, it
Hmm.
should show three options, right?
It should, yeah.
But in my case, it's not showing.
So just I think one thing is, did you install this Kobuki package with this command, like sudo apt install kinetic Kobuki star?
Yes, yes.
This star is important. So this star will, it will install all those relevant packages. So you
Uh,
have done
I
that, right?
I think in that SC635 course we had installed this only, no, with the star only.
That is, I most likely yes, but I'm not like 100% like I cannot recall it, like, but
Yes.
most likely, yeah.
In my course, two options are showing Kobuki Gazebo and Kobuki Gazebo plugins.
So it is not there. You need to run this install command. Once you do this, you will be able to see. Okay.
Right.
Sure, sure. So just one more information, since Ram mentioned this. So in Syscon offers a course SC635, Advanced Topics in Mobile Robots, and this course has a lab component. And for that lab component, again, we have this similar setup. Like, we use Gazebo and ROS there, and similar exercises there. So yeah, I mean, so like you can just spread a word. So let us get back to our track, and we saw Kabuki in action. Okay, so far let us try to recapitulate what we did. uh, we installed a package for running Gazebo, and then we installed another package for running this robot called Kobuki, and then we ran a pre-compiled pre-packaged example which loaded a world, and we ran a controller which was also like pre-packaged. Okay, so far no code writing we have done. We have just done one code writing, which was the running Gazebo from the launch file. Okay, that was a one liner. Now let us go ahead and try to see how we can control this Kobuki robot ourselves. So far we don't know how to control Kobuki robot, right? So suppose I want to make this Kobuki robot go follow a circular trajectory, or like, do something. How am I going to do that? So essentially we'll talk about that now. So like I said before, topics are very important, and topics are the way or the medium by which we are going to talk to our robot and issue commands and get information from the robot. So what information can we get from the robot? For example, we'll get the information, okay, is there an obstacle in front? Are we near the edge? Are we going to fall? Or like how fast we are going? What is the temperature of the environment or something like that? So all this information we can get from the robot from topics. This is just example. It might not have a temperature sensor as such. So this is just an example. So we can get information. So topics help us to give as well as extract information. Okay. So that's why we have this two terms, publish and subscribe. So when we subscribe, we get information. When we publish, we are sending information. Okay. So out of all these topics which are created by this Kobugi robot, see these two blue topics. These are of relevance. Why? Because we want to control this robot. Okay. So this first topic is called mobile base commands and velocity. So as the name suggests, like this is the topic which will accept some velocity commands. Okay, like that's what it will do. We'll see how, because this topic, whenever we talk about a topic, then three things should also come to our mind. Okay, what kind of message this topic expects, huh? And like how frequently can we give it that particular data, and who is subscribing to this topic, something like that. Okay, so whether this does only publish or only subscribe or both. Okay, so that those three things. Then the other important topic for us is this topic called ODOM, short for odometry. And what is odometry? Odometry is basically it's odometry is information about location of robot. Okay. So to know where our robot is in the environment, we use this topic called odometry. Okay, and location is in terms of like that XY, and there will be one more thing called orientation. So XYZ and orientation. So if you remember, I showed you those three axes, red, green and blue. So with respect to those axes, you can locate the robot in your gazebo world. Okay, so that information will come inside this odometry topic. And then this topic is there for velocity control. Let us look a bit closer. Okay, so if I use this ROS topic info command, I see that odometry has this particular message. This is called nav message, navigation message / capital O odometry. Okay, so this is a message type which odometry will provide us. As of now, who is publishing to this particular topic? Gazebo is publishing to this topic and subscribe it, and there are no subscribers. Okay, as of now. Okay, then we can also inquire about what kind of message is this velocity topic going to take or give. So again, info command ROS topic info. Then this type is geometry message. Okay, and it is of type twist. So this is going to give us twist message. Are there any publishers? No. Are there any subscribers? Yes, Gazebo. So Gazebo is subscribing to this. Okay, so this is for internal purpose. Gazebo, like we did not create this subscriber or publisher. It is being created automatically. Now we know a bit about, okay, what kind of messages these two are dealing with. This guy is dealing with navigation message odometry, and this guy is dealing with geometry message twist. Okay, now what does this message look like? So here is a snapshot of the odometry message. Okay, so odometry message, this is from the ROS documentation, and just Google it. Like you can just Google ROS and nav messages, and you will get to this information there. So I have just taken this snapshot, and it shows us like what is the message definition. Okay, so message definition is just a regular MSG file. It is somewhere in your system, but this is the content of that file. So this message has 4 fields. The first field is called header. The second field is a string which is called child frame ID. The third field is called pose. The fourth field is called twist. Okay, so in Gazebo, like in every other programming language, you know that you can create custom data types using primitive data types. Like for example, if I want to store student information, I can create something like a list or a object or a class, like which uses uh, like all these primitive types and creates a complex type of message. So this is a complex type of message which is created using simpler messages. Now the thing is that this pose member and this twist member, they are of type geometry message, pose with covariance, twist with covariance. So you need to again, like this is recursive. To understand what is this pose, we need to see what is this pose with covariance. Then we will see pose with covariance has some floating point numbers, which is like a primitive data type. So basically what I'm trying to say is this is like a complex message. It is, but at the end it is just consisting of some simple types. We just need to open this file and see. So all in all, odometry message has four members. Okay, let us see how this looks when it is being run in ROS. So here, so if you remember, there are four members. So first member was header, here header. So header has a sequence, stamp, frame ID, etc., etc. Then the second member was called child frame ID, if you remember here. So second was called child frame ID. So here is the child frame ID. So child frame ID is just base footprint, it is a string. Then the third member was a pose and twist. Okay, so let us see. So here you have your pose. So pose has another pose, and then it has position, orientation, information. So pose is this is your third member, and then twist is your fourth member. Okay, so let us see here. See, twist is your fourth member, just like what we expected. Okay, but the thing is, like I said, okay, this header might contain some primitive types internally. So that is what we are seeing here. So pose has another pose, and then it has position, then it has xyz. Eventually what is xyz? Xyz are just floating point numbers. Okay, so this is not complicated. Okay, this is simple only, but just that it is recursive, like it has a hierarchy. Okay, so all this information is coming in this topic ODOM, and yet there is a new command that we have here, which is called echo command. So ROS topic has this argument echo. So when we do ROS topic echo, it will give us the content of this message. Okay, so right now robot is telling you all this. What is it telling you? That its current position is x minus 3 point something, which is like a 0. It is almost a 0. Okay, and y is almost a 0, and z is also almost a 0. So when we start this robot, it starts at 0 0 0, and of course its orientation is important. So what is its orientation? So orientation is now like there is a little bit of extra information here, like orientation is not specified. So orientation, how do you represent the orientation of a rigid body? Okay, so you can do that with the help of three angles called Euler angles, or you can use a quaternion to represent that. Okay, we will talk about it probably later also. So this orientation actually contains that information, like how my robot is oriented. So there will be one reference position, and with respect to reference position, what is the current orientation of the robot, that is contained inside this orientation information. Okay, now let us see how do we control this Kobuki, or like how did we run our load our Kobuki robot. We did use a ROS launch command. Okay, but now we can do something which we did previously, which is like, to load Gazebo World, we used an include file, right? We are going to do the same here. So we create a new launch file and then just change the name of this file. So earlier we had Gazebo ROS, now we will have Kobuki Gazebo, and we will load empty world. Okay, so when we do this, what will we get? We'll get this robot. Okay, where it will be? It will be in the origin. You see here, x y z intersection, so it is going to be at the origin. Sorry for going back and forward. So that's what we do, and now comes the interesting part. Okay, so how do we control this robot? So to control this robot, there are multiple ways by which we can control, but remember, like the basic principle, like you have to always pass a message. So we are going to talk to some topic. Okay, so earlier we talked about what kind of message ODOM topic contained here. So this was all about ODOM topic, and what ODOM topic gives us? ODOM topic gives us the odometry information, which is this position and orientation information of the robot. Okay, now earlier I said that there are two topics of importance. So one was ODOM, this one, and the other was this velocity. So we saw what ODOM does, and now let us take a look at what velocity does. So velocity, this particular topic lets us control the velocity, or like issue a velocity command to the robot. Okay, so that's what it does. It lets us issue a velocity command, and that's how we control the Kobuki robot, by passing a message to this topic. What topic? Velocity topic. So here I have written this command, ROS topic pub -r10 mobile base command velocity. This is the topic name, and I'm sending a message. What message? Geometry message. Okay, so this was, if you remember, this was a twist message from geometry messages, and that is exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, so there are many things here. Let us go back a step. First, we want to control the robot. How can we do that? By publishing a twist message to velocity topic. And how do we do that? So there are multiple ways of publishing a message. Okay, so we have understood, control the robot, we need to publish a message. How do we publish a message? Okay, there are three ways. There are two ways usually, but there is third one for this one. So first of all, we can use our friend ROS topic command. So if you as of now, we have seen 4 uses of ROS topic. One was ROS topic list, one was ROS topic info, then there was ROS topic echo. Now we are seeing ROS topic pub. Okay, so this pub lets us issue a message from command line. So what I will do, I will open a terminal, and I will just write ROS topic pub, and then I will press and I will write -r10. So this, what is this -r-10 means? It means repeatedly, or like multiple messages. So when I write -r10, what it means is it will send 10 messages, something like that. So you don't need to write these two instructions. Okay, you can just avoid -r10. You just need to type ROS topic pub, name of the topic where you want to publish. So when I write /m and press tab, it will automatically complete. Then I will press /c, it will automatically complete. So you can use that autocomplete thing. So we will write to this topic, and then we will just write geometry. Then again we can press tab, and it will complete this message for us. Okay, so let me show you this in action. Okay, so here okay, because my robot is not running, let me just load it. So ROS launch Kobuki gazebo, and then what is it? It was Kobuki, I think it was empty world. Yeah, Kobuki empty world, Kobuki underscore. And so here here if you see, I'm using this autocomplete tab thing. Okay, empty world here. So I just press tab and it auto completed. So when I'm going to
Vivek, you there? Okay, I think he's stuck. Let's just wait for him.
Yeah, hello, Deepak, can you hear me?
Now I can. Sorry, man.
Okay,
The
just
connection.
yeah.
Can you just reshare your screen? Vivek? Guys, we'll wait for him to reconnect, okay? In the meantime, if there are any queries you can raise them.
Yeah, hello. Deepak,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yes. Okay.
Uh, okay, so sorry. Let me reshare my screen and
Sure. So
okay.
Pratik just asked a question. I'll answer till then. You can like take your time to set it up. Acha, okay, you're here. Cool. So is there a way to create your own topics? Yeah, you can. So I mean, it's even like create your own topics, create your own messages. It's right now we are just using the package, the robot package made for that robot, right? So we're trying to use the topics that they have in their package. So the purpose is to have like a common working ground. So you can definitely create your own packages. Create your own topics and communication protocols. But let's say some other user in the community won't have access to it. So as often as possible, try and use the topics or protocols which already exist. Yeah.
Okay. So guys, you can see here I have loaded the empty world of Kobugi, and then I just use that tab autocomplete to write this message. Okay, because that's like fast and error prone also, like less error prone. So here if you see, I just changed this 000 to 0.2. So what I have done is I have I have issued a velocity command where I'm saying that I want to set velocity along x as 0.2. Angular velocity doesn't mean anything here as of now, but just by setting this x 0.2, let us see what happens. So I'm going to press enter, and you can see yeah, okay, something didn't happen. Okay, so let's try that again. Yeah, okay, so I think
You need to specify rate, right?
I'm not sure. Okay, let me try that. Anyways, this what could be the reason is that I might need to relaunch this. Okay, so just let me relaunch this thing. So I'm going to kill this. Okay, and it will take some time before it is killed properly. So that is one thing, like loading this world again and again, it takes some time, and like it's a waste of time. So I'm going to again launch this empty world. Okay, and just to be on the safer side, this time I'm going to first see if the topics are all right, so let's go to the second screen. Okay, so my keyboard is kind of giving me trouble. Okay, so ROS topic list again. So here is our velocity command, topic, velocity topic. So we are going to issue a command. So ROS topic publish, and then mobile paste. So mo top tab, commands C tab, and then V tab. So it completed, and then I'm going to just press tab and again tab. It gave me this automatically, and now I'm going to this x is equal to, let us say, 0.1. Okay, so you see that robot moved this time. So let me make it a bit closer, here. Now just observe. Okay, so I'm going to now, okay, here, going to use a little stronger velocity command this time. So enter, and you see all right, so it did move. Okay, so I hope I'm still connected. Yeah. Okay, so so guys, that was how we can use this ROS topic PUB. There was a little bit of issue, but it was resolved when I relaunched the whole project. Okay, so this is how we can control our Kobuki from command line, but that is not what we want to do, right? We don't want to do that. Okay, so there is one more convenient way of controlling our robot which I want to show you guys, and that is called teleop. So teleop is short for teleoperation. Okay, so this is how it is done. So teleoperation is like is provided by this utility called teleop twist keyboard. So this teleop twist keyboard is a file which is somewhere in your system, and to control it, it allows us to control the robot from keyboard. Okay, and how to run this? To run this, use ROS run. Just open a terminal and run ROS run teleop twist keyboard. Then repeat the same phrase teleop twist keyboard with a .py extension, and then tell where you want to send the message. So you need to use this specific way. You know, by default what happens is this script is going to send the messages to cmd vel topic, but now what we are doing is we are remapping this particular topic cmd vel to the new topic called mobile based command velocity. So this is the topic of our robot. So what we are doing, we are doing some topic remapping. This is just a ROS thing. Okay, so let us see how it works for us. So here is our robot. Okay, and now let me show you this teleop thing. Okay, so here I was doing this manual thing. Now let me do ROS run teleop twist keyboard. Again, see, I'm using the tab, and then cmd underscore vel has to be remapped to / mobile base commands velocity. Okay, so now enter. Okay, so when I do this, you see it tells me all this information moving around U, I, O, J, K, L, M. So all these are the keys which are there to move. And now see, I'm going to first reduce the speed of the robot so that we see it moving. Okay, so I've reduced. Now I'm going to press the key I. Okay, so you see that robot moved, and now I'm going to make it go in a circle. So this is being done from the keyboard now. Okay, so so the good thing is that this helps you to play. Okay, so this is not really a serious way of doing this, but it's good if you want to do some testing. Let us say you are trying to sense whether your sensor is giving correct data or not, whether your algorithm is like, you know, kind of deciphering, or like, you know, whether your algorithm is working fine or not. So you might need to control a robot manually. So this is a very convenient way of doing that. Okay, so let's go back to our presentation. So this is another way. So there are two ways from command line. One is from publish using ROS topic, and another way is using this teleop twist keyboard. Okay, so this is just a utility which can help us to control these robots. Now what is the proper way? The proper way would be if we can do this by writing our Python script. Okay, so that is eventually what we want to do. So here is the Python script that is going to allow us to do that. But before that, remember one thing. In both of these previous example, what were we actually doing? So what we were actually doing is we were setting this velocity here. You see this x is equal to 0.3, right? And then okay, here was z is equal to 0.2. So z is basically your angular about z axis. Okay, so this sets your angular velocity about z axis as 0.2 radians per second, and this is like in meter per second. So 0.3 meter per second I'm publishing. Now what I want to say is, when we are doing programmatically controlling the robot, you know, that time essentially we will do the same thing. What we will do is we will send this message, and we will send this x, y, and z things. Okay, and that will allow us to control our robot. So
Vivek,
yeah,
before we go ahead, I think Radhik has a question. So Radik, you
Yeah,
can.
Radik, tell me.
Yeah, so this ROS run command is used to run the topic or the node.
A single script file. So a single script can contain multiple node also, like it is possible, but usually it is a good idea to have one node per script,
Okay. And if you see that previous command when you are calling, I mean, you're activating the
yeah.
keyboard based
Yes,
control.
yes.
I have a
Uh-huh.
doubt in that syntax. Can you go to that syntax? Yeah. So here it is like command underscore velocity, and there is this full colon is equal to, and then
Yes,
the mobile
colon
based
is
command.
equal to.
Yeah. So why is it like that? I mean, like suppose this is the, sorry, one second. The teleop twist keyboard and teleop twist keyboard dot py is the what is the tele operation ka code, and then
Right.
that cmd underscore velocity. What is that, and how is it different from the other this thing?
Sure. So first of all, see, ROS run requires two things. First, the package name. So package name is teleop twist keyboard, and the script name is also teleop twist keyboard. Okay. Now, this argument which I'm passing here, command velocity, this is actually not an argument, but it is called remapping. So remapping is like suppose like so this like I like I said earlier, this script by default tries to send the messages to this topic, this command velocity, you know. So,
Okay.
but the point is our robot is not going to accept, like our robot does not know about this topic, right? But our robot has got this particular topic. So we need to do some remapping from old topic to new topic. So this keyboard script is going
Vivek?
to, yeah, tell me, Deepak.
Yeah, so there is some lag between your voice and the mouse
Cursor movement.
pointer you move. So you can maybe explicitly say
Ah,
which topics. Okay? Yeah.
sure. So this CMD underscore VEL, this is the default thing, and now we don't need this. That's why we are just remapping this topic to a new topic, and this is one of the features offered by ROS. Like we can do this remapping uh, while running this script. So this remapping thing will be accepted by ROS when it is using this ROS run command. Like so ROS run allows you to pass like lot of different arguments, I guess. So this is one of the ways, and this is like an inbuilt way. So
So
that yeah,
if
tell
I
me.
don't write that command underscore velocity semicolon,
Huh.
directly write that mobile and velocity, what will happen?
Oh, then I think it will probably complain. We can do that, like So essentially, if I do that, there will be probably some complaints. Okay, let us do that. So I'm going to stop, and I'm going to go back, and okay, let's do this. Mobile base commands velocity. So okay, then I'm here. Let's see. So see, now it is saying something. See, it is waiting for a subscriber to connect. So do you see what is going on here? So basically it is publishing to the original topic only, and then nobody is subscribing to this topic. So that's what it is complaining, because nobody is listening at that topic command well. So that's why I think this argument is ignored. So the answer to your question is, if we don't write that cmd well colon equal to, this argument will probably be ignored.
Okay.
Sure. So to fix it, let us just do that again. So what we do is we do the remapping, and it's a good question because I think this is another feature of ROS. Like we can do remapping in real time. Suppose I want to redirect. Like I created a new node and I want to redirect my stream from that old node to new node. This will help me to redirect the message. Like earlier the message was going to command well, now the same message is going to the velocity topic. Now that's just like that's great. So now I'm going to run my robot, and you see it is violently running because there are like the velocity speed is very high, 0.5 meter per second, and turn is 1 radian per second, which is like a very high value. So you see like, robot is okay. So great. That's all. Let's go back to our presentation. Okay. So programmatically, when we are going to control the robot, what we need to do is we need to send this twist message to the velocity topic. That's all. And how do we do that? To do any kind of sending, that means doing publishing, and to publish we need to create a publisher. So in line 6, see, rest of the code is just regular Python ROS node code. What is different is, we'll see, like line 9, if you see, that is one different thing. Like here we are creating a twist message in line 9. Okay, so this twist message we are importing it from the geometry message in line 3. So in line 3 I have written from geometry message dot message import twist. Okay, so that will give me twist message, and then in line 9 I am creating this twist message, like in this variable velocity messages, a velocity message. In the next line, line 10, what I'm doing is I'm making the x equal to 0.2. So if you remember, the twist message has a child called linear, and then that child has another child called x, y, and z. So here I'm using this dot notation to refer to those child. So this is, when you use a dot, you move down a hierarchy. So from parent you will come to the child, and then from child you will go to subchild. So velocity message is twist dot linear dot x equals to 0.2. So I have assigned this value 0.2 to linear x, and then I'm assigning this value 0.2 to angular z. Okay, so angular z is the rotation about z axis, that is the angular velocity of the robot to turn the robot. Okay, and then eventually in line 13 we are doing the publish business. Okay, so what is the frequency at which we are going to publish this message? So that is there in line 8. So in line 8 I have initialized this rate by 1, so that means it will execute once a second at 1 hertz frequency. So this message will be published like once a second. Okay, so that's our script, and what this script is going to do, it is going to send a twist message here in line 13, one message a second, and this message will contain this command. Okay, make the linear velocity 0.2, make the angular velocity 0.2. So what do we expect to see is our robot moving with this velocity, and our robot will move in a circle with this particular velocity. Okay, that's what we expect. So we can do the same thing from keyboard and from command line also, but eventually what we want to do is we want to control our robot through our script. Okay, so this is the programmatic way of doing it. Okay, now next, if you remember ODOM message, so ODOM message had this 4 fields. So essentially now, if we want to control our robot, to make it move from point A to point B, we will need to know where our robot right now is, like, so that information is contained in this ODOM topic. Okay, so where in ODOM topic? Again, in ODOM topic there is a member called pose. That member has a child which is also called pose, then that child has another child position, and then there are x, y, and z subfields in this position. So if I want to know where my robot is, its x coordinate, then I'm going to do pose dot position dot x. Okay, so in this example we were setting it, now we will be getting it. Okay, so here is the okay, before going into that, like before getting the knowledge of where the robot is, um, we need to do something, and that something is uh, getting this orientation in a more human understandable way. So this orientation right now, this orientation information, like how the robot is oriented, and we know that our robot is a ground robot, so it will only be oriented about the z axis. Okay, so our robot's orientation can be described by a single angle. Like, okay, what I can say is, okay, my robot is right now like 30 degree from x-axis, because it is not going to rotate about y or z axis, right? Because it has got wheels, and that wheel have to be on the ground for the robot to be stably placed. So that's why there will not be a orientation change in y or x axis. So that's why we can convert this orientation into a single angle. Okay, so first of all, what is this orientation encoded as? So this orientation right now is encoded as a quaternion. So quaternion is a 4D vector which is used to, like, represent the orientation of a rigid body in 3 dimensions. Okay, and we can read more about it on internet, or like if you are familiar with this. So first we will convert this quaternion into Euler angles, and the Euler angle corresponding to z axis is basically what we want. Okay, so how to do that? To convert quaternion to Euler angle, there is this uh, there is this little bit of tool provided by Ross, which is called uh, like this transformations tool. Okay, so in TF package, so Ross has this inbuilt package called TF package. It has this transformations sub package, or maybe like it's a script, and so from there, this is just regular Python way of importing some function. So it provides us this function called Euler from quaternion. So we are just going to use that Euler from quaternion, and what we are going to do, so we are going to call this Euler from quaternion and pass it our quaternion. So first of all, we create quaternion as a list object. So this quart here is a list object. List is a data type of Python. So in that list we place x, y, z, w that we see in this message. So this orientation x, y, z, w quaternion components, we place it in a list, and then we call this function. So on top of this function, we have created a new function quart to Euler. So you just pass x, y, z, w to this function, and it will return you Euler angles. What will be those Euler angles? So those Euler angles are called roll, pitch, and yaw. Okay, so roll is like your roll about x-axis, and pitch is just like your change of orientation about your y-axis. Okay, and then yaw, roll, pitch, yaw. So yaw is your change about z-axis. So we are interested in yaw, and here is the script, the complete script that will give us the position information. Okay, so let us first try to understand what we are doing in this script. Okay, so we are getting the odometry information of the robot from a topic. What is that topic called? That is called odom. And how do we get data from a topic? So we use a subscriber for that, and that is in line 16. So this is where we are creating this subscriber. Okay, and this subscriber is subscribing to this topic called odom topic. And then what kind of message will this topic give me? It will give me odometry topic. But where is this stored? It is in navigation messages. So in line 3, if you see, we are importing this particular message type from navigation messages. And then what will happen? So whenever a message is received, this function will be called, this callback function. And what this callback function is going to do, let us see. So first, in line 7, this callback is going to extract the x orientation, then in 8, y, z, w. So in lines 7, 8, 9, 10, we are extracting these orientation components, and then we are creating, okay, here. So we are creating this pose list. Okay, it's a bit hard to read, but if you see, this pose is just a list of 3 components. Okay, and in this 3 components, I think I should have written it a bit I should have simplified it, but it's become very unreadable. So if you see, this pose has 3 components. The first component is data pose position x, so basically it is x. The second component is pose position y, so this is just like x and y coordinate, first and second component. And the third component is basically your quart to Euler. So basically this is going to create Euler angles, and out of those 3 Euler angles, it is going to select the last angle, which is the yaw angle. So basically your pose contains your data x, y, and your theta. Theta is in your orientation of the robot about z axis. So this pose is just a list of 3 components. And then in line 12, I'm just printing this pose. So I'm just printing this pose, and because this pose is a big floating point number, I'm just 3 decimal places. Okay, So this is the format by which you can print it up to 3 decimal places. So F stands for floating point number, and 0.3 tells you how many places after decimal and before decimal. Okay, so in the angle I'm printing up to only 2 decimal places. Okay, so that's all. So what we have done here, we have created a subscriber that is going to subscribe to odometry topic, and then it is going to use this callback function, and it is going to whenever a data is received, that data will we will take x, y and theta from that data and we'll print it. So okay, so I think that's how we will get the data. So we saw two things. We saw how to control the robot by issuing control messages as in the velocity message, okay, which was a twist message, TWIST. And here we saw how to read the position of the robot. So now we know how to get the robot's position, and now we also know how to tell robot to execute a particular velocity command, so essentially we are now ready to run our robot. So what is here in this link is basically a project which you can download, and you can just run these scripts. So this particular project contains these script files which I am showing you here, and then you will be able to control the robot. So I guess it's like I think a good point to stop now. And just to summarize what we have done, so we got introduced to gazebo environment, like what gazebo simulation environment is. Then we saw how to run it from launch file, and then we saw Kobuki mobile base, and then we saw how to load it and how to control it programmatically. So at this point, what we should know is we should know how to know the location of our robot and how to issue a command to our robot. And I think that's a very good point to stop at, because it's a lot to kind of digest. And once we are good with this, in the next session what we will do is we will control the robot to perform some kind of a behavior that we saw in that example program. Like a robot was going forward, and when it saw an obstacle, it was able to avoid, it was not able to avoid that obstacle, it was hitting on that obstacle, but we will do something that we will be able to avoid this obstacle and go around it. So something like that we will do in the next session. So for this session and previous session, so from previous session we now are good with ROS, like we understand how to get ROS running, how to create nodes, how what topics are, how to inquire about topics, what kind of message they are publishing, subscribing. And now today we saw Kobuki mobile robot base and how to control this robot programmatically from keyboard and how to know its location. So I will stop here, and let us take questions. And also I'll put this slide after this talk, and you can download it. So yeah.
Yeah, Rhythm, go ahead. Thank you, Vivek.
These location
Yeah, hey.
orientation.
Rhythm, you're not audible.
Now, am I audible?
Yeah, better.
You are, yes.
So this location and orientation data from one, we can also do simulation with two such Kobuke ones, and location and orientation of one can be used to control the other, right? In real time.
Yes, it can be done. And if you want, we'll include one example for running multiple Kobuki robots. But then if you see this script that we saw in today's slide, that script will just create one Kobuki robot. To create two Kobuki robots, little bit of modification is required.
Okay, so
yeah, because that script
Maybe
that
we can add that. We can add an example and present it.
yes, next.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So other questions like you guys have? So if you don't have questions, I guess
Mind up. Okay. Don't see any questions. Okay, so we'll end the session. So as I said yesterday, you're expected to implement the stuff that was discussed today and check it out for yourself before the next session. If you have any queries or any issues, any bugs, you can just mention in Teams. I think, yeah, Raman Mishra had some issues with implementing it, so I hope he figures it out by the end of next session. Sorry, before the beginning of next session. Yeah, regarding what will be done next session, like we said, I was thinking of having like a sort of a dummy real life problem of not hitting the obstacles and moving around in an environment, maybe to a goal state or something like that. If you have any similar or interesting, which you believe is an interesting problem, then you can post it by tomorrow. So using Kobuki robot, what was presented today, if you think some interesting examples that you think are relevant, you can just post it in Teams by tomorrow. Can we also simulate serial robots? By serial robots, do you mean multiple robots? Or like an arm with multiple actuators in serial? So ARM, you mean? Okay. So yeah, I think there are ARM models in Gazebo. I mean, like there are models for popular like KUKA bots or whatever companies manufacture. So there are models available for Gazebo. But in our research group, we mainly work with mobile robots, which has like wheels and have certain either holonomic or non-holonomic capabilities. So that's why we are structuring this with a perspective of mobile robots. Yeah, we can maybe conduct a session later on for ARM if you believe that's like very relevant. Okay, good. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Yeah, we'll end the session then. Thank you, Vivek. Oh, okay. Acha. Okay, cool. Yeah, you can leave. I'm stopping the recording. Yeah.